this computer. Fabulous. And then we're gonna go live on Facebook as well. And here we go. Think and grow rich. Think and grow rich. Here we go. Learn how. So if you click on the Zoom link there, you should be able to pop into my Zoom. And this way you can see me live. You can see where we are. You can see what we're doing. It's so much better when you see it on Zoom, because then you can really get what's really happening. All right. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being awesome. So here we go. So much better when you see it. Here we go. It's live now on Zoom. So pretty cool. So I'm in Zoom and I'm also here live in the Clubhouse app. And we're going to start sharing with you something that you probably have not seen before. Maybe you have, maybe not. But I just want to get started here sharing with you a couple things so that you can see what's really going on. So welcome. So I'm going to do some more invites. And so tonight, going to be three main topics that we're going to talk about. One of the main things is going to be goals. The second thing is going to be how you really get to that level of your satisfaction. How do you really shift so you can achieve that goal with ease? And third is going to be how can you sustain that goal? How do you get there without all the trouble, without, really working too hard? Because so many people try, but they're doing it too hard that way, and then they end up being struggling. So I'm going to share with you how I did it. I'm going to share with you how the community I'm building so that you can have more sales, more confidence, more habits, more income, more into your life. I don't know exactly what you're looking for, but I bet you are looking for something. And that's why you're here. You're here because you are looking for something. And what that is, I don't know until we meet. So you have me here. So let's get this going. So let me share with you the screen. So once you jump on Zoom, you can see it. You can learn a bit about me. You can see what's happening. So here we are. All right, 7:03, 7:04. We're going to get started in a minute here. So welcome, Deborah. Welcome, Dean, Tiffany, Aziz. Thanks for joining. We're also live. So hopefully you're all right with this and you're seeing it. Welcome, Dean. Good to see you. We're just about to get started with sharing why we're doing this and what's really happening. Why is this about? What are we going to talk about? How are we going to get more sales? How are you going to get more confidence? How are you going to get more leads? How are you going to change your life? How are you going to change your income? What's this masterminding about? What's this psychology? You hear all this time, mindset. Everybody's talking about mindset. Everybody thinks they know the mindset, but everybody's lost. So when so many people are talking mindset, Dean and Deborah and Tiffany and Aziz, how come they are still lost? How come they still don't have the sales where they want it to be? How come the wealth is still not there? How come they're not masterminding? And when right in this book, Think and Grow Rich, that's been written a long time ago, very, very few people have still conquered it or really understand it. So I decided to, after I learned quite a bit of stuff from Bob and Laurel and a few others, to really change things around, to really build a small community that we can get together and learn, get more confident, get more leads, get more life, get more income. But how are you going to do it? It's not just mindset. Saying mindset doesn't really mean a lot. It's digging deeper into it and finding a better way. So this website here, El-Rassi.club, really is the beginning where I'm starting to build this community where we get together as real estate agents, CEOs, executives, mompreneurs, young financial agents that really want to grow. They really want to do it on the cutting edge of using what's available out there with ease. So that's what this is about. So if you have not seen this page, if you have not heard much about me, basically we're on Zoom. We're also on the Clubhouse app. We're also live on Facebook. So it's in multiple places at the same time. And the idea is to grow this community that can get together and mastermind. So we mastermind every week on Thursdays, for example, at 8 p.m. So we're going to do this little seminar here for an hour or so, 40, 50 minutes. And then we're going to watch a bit of Bob video on the laws of success, on thinking and growing rich, on how is the cycle, how is that psychology really happening? Why does it happen for some and not for others, right? You hear it all the time, mindset, 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 but what does that really mean? Now, this started for me about 3.5, 4 years ago when I started asking questions like, how can you do more? How can you get more? How can you get more with ease? Because it wasn't the degrees. I had the degrees at the time. I have a master's degree, had a master's degree, had an MBA, and it was still not happening. It was still, 6-figure income, but in North America, 6-figure income does not take you far. By the time you want to give some of that money away to your churches, community, loved ones, whatever, there's not much left. So it's not really the promotions, because I was getting promotions. I was at a manager level, 22 years in steel making. I was still, just breaking it. And it's like, not even enough. So that's when it clicked that there's something has to change. And that change has to be from the inside, not the outside. Finally realized from being mentored with Bob that it is on the inside, and our thoughts and feelings are becoming what's happening outside. Thoughts, feelings, and action. Now, that doesn't make sense at the beginning. You're thinking of something, you want to grow, you want to build it, but it doesn't really happen. How many entrepreneurs do you know, business owners, they start the business, they start the thing, they buy the stuff, and then the business goes down because it's all external. So there is something bigger to the game. And that's why I decided to get mentored by Bob Proctor for 2.5 years to really understand the mind, because it's all about the mind. One of the biggest lessons that Bob gave us was it's all about the mind. It's really all about your marvelous mind and you understanding you, every one of us, because the results that we're getting are a manifestation of what's happening on the inside. So this mindset, the world that you hear about, these mindset talks, these books, these shelf help books, I call it shelf help, because those books stay on the shelf until you really do something about it. So I started getting mentored by Bob, and then my results start changing because I started to understand more about me. I started to understand what's really going on. And the more I understand about me, the more I know what I want, the more I know what I want, how I want to feel, and how I want to help others. And that's when results started shifting. So Bob, for the most part, talked about 3 things with me: goals, shifting my paradigm, and decision-making. And in this book, Think and Grow Rich, which we mastermind on every Thursday night for free, you can come to the community. We talk about one of these topics. What's the desire about? What's the faith about? What's your shifting paradigm? How do you shift your habits, right? So you can go to this El-Rassi.club, check it out, watch the video. I'm not going to watch the video now, but I'm going to show you a little bit more as to how big this is, how important that as you resonate at a higher frequency, right? As you start thinking at a higher frequency than where you are right now, you will start realizing bigger things. Different people will start coming into your life. And like I said, I just wanted more, and then somehow, suddenly, right away, more people were coming into my life. More people that than I would have ever imagined that I could meet. So here's a picture here of me and Bob. One-on-one, being coached, and we're talking goal setting, we're talking paradigm shifting, decision making. And he's like, Kamal, what do you really want? I had already been studying and following, but you don't get to see him every year. You get to talk to him every day. You just get to be there, but you'll get a few sessions with him. And it's like, what do I really want? So Dean and Jam and Paul and Deborah, if you take that time at night when there's nobody around and you ask yourself that question without thinking if you can get it or not, without thinking if you're allowed to have it or not, without thinking if you can afford it, what do you really want? Can you really give yourself that permission? And that's what it is. So I started studying with him, and fairly quickly, I became one of the top consultants in the Bob Proctor community. There's 2,100 people over there, and now I'm considered one of the top 10. As of the last few weeks, this is here on the slide, top 10 activators. That means we are one of the top 10 based on what we're doing, our qualification, what we're doing. And what is this about? This is just to show you that I know what I'm talking about, because I have experienced the change. And once I experience the change, you can get the change too. If you are looking to move your results, if you are looking to change how you're doing things, you're in the right space. That's why you're resonating here at a different frequency and vibration. See, what we have with Think and Grow Rich is the mental toolbox that's needed to get you to break through the noise. See, there's so much noise out there. Everybody thinks they know what they're doing, including myself. We all think we do. All they think we're the best because we are the best. See, we have this genius inside of us. But some of the few, the 1, 2, 3%, which you are hopefully aiming to be top of that, top of the bracket in wealth, health, and hopefully economics. We're going to show you how it's happening, how it's a science. It's not, it's a system. Success is a system. It's a mental toolbox, 150 years of science. In this picture on the screen, you'll see Bob. That's who mentored me. Bob was mentored by Earl Nightingale. And of course, Earl worked with Napoleon Hill, who was mentored by Andrew Carnegie. So you're going to get all this once we start working together, once you allow me to help you. And I really want to help you. The whole point is to see if I can help you, if I can make a difference in one area of your life. It could be as simple as you can't even get to the gym because you want to, but you don't even go. You want to release that weight, but it's not really happening. See, it's not the food. It's not the next workout. It's all up here in your mind. 95% mindset, 5% strategy. It's all in your mind. Now, some of you might not believe this at the first. You're like, what are you talking about? I've tried everything, Kamal. I've tried everything. But no. I'm telling you, you should give me that chance. Give me that opportunity. Listen in. Get a piece of paper and a pen and listen in. And let go of everything that you know before. This stuff will change your life. See, it was 1 hour like this that changed everything for me. And not just for me, all my clients. And that's the beauty. Because once I have that change, I can transfer it to you. But you just have to allow the goodness to come to you. You can get this Think and Grow Rich book by yourself, and you can go and read it. But you have to be committed. You have to persist. You have to have the desire, the burning desire. You have to change your mind. You have to understand yourself a whole lot more. And that's what I can help you do. I can help you change it like that. So I consider myself, I'm grateful because now Bob Proctor is gone. Started with him 2.5 years. He's gone. Everybody before him is gone. So the legacy would carry on with you because if you want this change, if you want this mental toolbox, you could be next. And all it takes is you saying yes to you. You saying, yeah, I want to invest in me because I want to think and grow rich. How do they do it? How do people run 6, 7 companies? Now, few years ago, I didn't even have one investment. And I was 21 years working in the industry in North America. Now I have 4. Actually, as a matter of fact, today, this is without bragging, we just signed off on an opportunity, on an investment in the Caribbean. We went to the bank and we signed the deal and the money got transferred like nothing. It just happens. And this is just one of many. But 3, 4 years ago, I couldn't see that I could do that. In less than a year and a half, I have a thriving coaching company helping 70 clients, not just 1 or 2, 70. Now, this is not to brag. This is to show you that if I can do it, you can do it, Dean. You can do it, Najam. Paul is doing it already. Lori Lee is one of my amazing clients. She is a fantastic real estate agent. So if you're on Clubhouse, jump on Zoom so you can see the picture. It's going to be so much better. Now, what's the idea of this? The idea is just to show you that in few record months, I'm now attracting people into my life to help me do what I want to do. And that's the idea of Think and Grow Rich. You're not supposed to do it by yourself. You're not supposed to just be in the basement by yourself at home, working hard 60, 70, 80 hours a week. You can attract anybody into yourself. How did I attract Glenn Morshower into my life? A year and a half ago, I met him on Clubhouse. Just about 2 weeks ago, we were on the same stage speaking on to 120 Millionaires live. That's my daughter on the right, Sarah. That's me in the middle, and that's Glenn Morshower. If you don't know him, he's incredible. He's a phenomenal speaker, actor. He's been in so many movies, I can't even number them. And he's in the latest movie or game, Call of Duty. And the reason I'm showing you this is that because I'm just like you. But I just start asking questions. I want more. Here's another picture of me and Tom Ziegler. Now, I know Zig Ziglar's work. I didn't really know that much of Tom. But because I'm in the same space now, coaching, mindset coach, leadership, I help leaders really become, I'm speaking on stages with Tom. It's incredible. I just got his book signed, showed up at my house. We on stages a couple of times, and you can have the same too. The key is, what do you really want? What are you desiring? Now, I'm only showing you this because in record time, I'm able to do all this. But it took me 21, 22 years trying to figure it out. Now I'm accelerating that momentum. And that's what I want for you, Najam. That's what I want for you, Dean, and Lori, and Shad, and Makeup, and Deborah, and Mr. and everybody that's going to watch this recording, because it's going to be live. It's going to be here forever. Now, this is my book on the screen. I call it the same as Thinking into Results. I'm teaching Thinking into Results. That's what Bob mentored me on. So in this book, you go to Thinking into Results, you're going to see the teaching. You're going to see what I took out of it. Now, Bob summarized this 150 years in the book that he taught us on, the one that he mentored us with, Thinking into Results. Some of you here are my clients, but this is going to be my book. Own it as well, because then you're going to get my experience. How did a guy who came from Lebanon on a boat to Canada, then to the US, and now he's got a fortune going on, he's got investment going on, he's helping others transform. This is just to show you that if I can do it, you can do it. I'm building your belief, and you have to borrow that belief, because you probably think that you probably just got lucky. I didn't just get lucky. I learned a thing or two. I switched my mindset. I let somebody who knows few more things than me, like Bob Proctor, to teach me, and I listened and I followed him. And after I followed him, because he's a mentor, I learned and then I adapted. So go to that Thinking into Results and take a look. I would appreciate your support with that book. It's coming up in a couple months. They're working on the final version, the first version, but it's the final edit. You know, it takes a bit to write a book. There's another place on stage. Multimillionaires on stage. This guy is worth probably 200 million. The guy on the left, Justin Bennett, Laurel Langmeyer. I don't know how many millions. Lots. She's my mentor. But look at the legacy. So I was studying with Bob, of course, before he passed away. And then a bit into it, he's like showing us this movie, The Secret, and Laurel Langmeyer was in the movie, The Secret. Then a little bit later, I see Laurel on a stage. And then at some point, Laurel invited Bob to be on a podcast. And here I am being mentored by Bob. Laurel is there. And now I'm in between them both. So you'll attract into your life what you want. You probably heard of the law of attraction. You probably heard of the law of vibration. You've probably seen some of the Bob stuff, but do you know how it works? Can you let all this goodness come into your life? See, if I write it on a gold card, it starts to happen. This is my gold card. Just like Earl taught Bob. Bob taught me to have a gold card. And I want to teach you how to have a gold card. So in a short amount of time, I'm now collaborating with Laura on stages, speaking on stages, and having a lot of fun. And that's how the legacy is to you. This is, again, here, me and Sarah, my daughter, on a stage. This was less than a year ago. So it's incredible. This guy on screen, James Dentley, we're masterminding with him. Again, why am I showing you this? Just so that you know that you can do it. This is James Dentley. He's partnered with Les Brown. You know Les Brown, the one speaking in the world. Like he's incredible. You know, you might like him, you might not. I don't know. But the idea is that how could somebody that you don't need to have a lot of money, you don't need to have a lot of wealth. You just have to have a want. You just have to have a want. Here's again on a podcast with Laura. This one was Forbes Lady, $2.5 billion queen. She sold so much on QVC. It's incredible. We're masterminding a $100 million venture. Mark Tassoni just shifted his solar company to I think it's $180 million, 200 people now. 2 years ago, it was only about 50, 60 people. This is John DeMartini. He teaches me stuff. He's also one of my mentors. But we're masterminding on a course with him, with Harrison Klein, who's an amazing, amazing coach. So all this just to show you that if I can do it, you can do it, okay? That's the point. Now, let's get to the other slide, because I want to show you something. I want to show you. Where is it? I want to show you these slides about goals. We're going to get back to the beginning about goals. Because really, it comes down to a goal. All this will not go anywhere unless you have a goal. So here we go. I'm sharing my other screen. Dean, can you see my screen now? Is it clear? Is it good?
Yes, sir. Roger that. Looks great.
I love it. I love it. It's good. So the idea is think and grow rich. You need the mindset, but you also need to shift your paradigm. You also need to shift your thinking and need to change your self-image. So there's several things here on the screen. It's a little bit busy. I got to clean it up, but think of it. Decision making, you got to decide fast. You have to shift your self-image. So if you've been trying too hard, or if you've been winning a little bit, but then you go backwards, it's because your self-image hasn't shifted. If you don't have a good feel for the money, right? If you don't have a good feel for the money, what does that mean? Like, let's say you were raised like myself, and I only speak from my experience, because that's what I'm passing on to you. If you have issues with money, receiving money, taking money, spending money, keeping money, you're going to have a problem with money. Until we overcome that teaching and that thinking, it's not going to happen. And that's the part of where I can teach you to do it very, very fast. You don't need to spend a lot of time. So on Thursday nights, every Thursday, and you're all invited from now on, every Thursday, to start coming to this mastermind, start coming to learn how things happen, how we think, because it's not going to happen in one conversation. It's not going to happen just in one day in 40 minutes. You know, you need to book an appointment. You got to come and see me. My digits are on the screen. But we have this mastermind, and I call it the power of the mastermind for one reason. But in this book, in the Think and Grow Rich book, put it upside down here. There's a chapter about power of the mastermind. As soon as you look at this chapter, it's the power of the mastermind. You see, once we are together here, 3, 4, 5, 6 minds, there's power between us if we collaborate together with faith. Now, you can read this chapter all you want on your own. Nothing's going to happen until it's transferred to you, until I explain it to you and we work together on something. Now, the mastermind, the power of it is the driving force. That's what's going to help you overcome what you had. This is the thing. How do people go from nothing to something? You don't need money. You need people with money. You got to attract them into your life. Those earlier pictures that I showed you, James Dentley, Les Brown, John DeMartini, Harrison Klein, so many. I can't mention them all to you because you'll be like, he's bragging. And I don't like to do that. I'm impressing the idea to you that you'll attract the people into your life by just having a desire and a want. So power may be defined as organized effort and intelligently directed knowledge. So you can have all the information that you want. We have a library full of information. There's lots of libraries with information. Have you seen any librarian that's rich? Like really filthy, big, rich, lots of money, load? No. See, it's not the information. It has to be intelligently directed and organized. And that's what you can learn from here. And it doesn't need to be a lot of plan. It needs to be the beginning of a plan. And we'll get you moving into action. It's a system. Thinking into results, the one we coach on, we teach, the 6 months life system, is incredible. Power is required for the accumulation of money. Now, Think and Grow Rich is a money book. It's money centered, but you can take it towards your health, towards your wealth, towards your happiness, relationship. I'm working with a couple of people now on relationships. Why? Because it's the same thing. You can attract into your life who you want. The business partner, the actual love partner, whatever it is. It's the same idea. You just have to shift your frequency and vibe to that. And I can teach you how to do that. Power is required for the accumulation of money. If you want money, you need power. How do you get power? Mastermind. It's incredible. And today is your lucky day, but I'm going to explain it a little bit more. Now, and how did it happen so fast for me? And have a sip of water here. Like I said, I had so many degrees. And this is chemical engineering, master's in metallurgy. I had an MBA, engineering management, Dale Carnegie certificate, but it wasn't really working. I said, I need more. I had to be able to give more. I became a very good follower. So as a leader, whatever you are in your organization, whichever real estate company, whichever organization you're in, you have to become an excellent follower. You have to follow somebody that's doing something that you want to do. In one thing, not in 100 things. So if you find something that somebody's really good at in sales, for example, specific element, right, of sales, there's many different kinds of sales. In mindset, in shifting your paradigm, in shifting your image, and getting you to feel good about yourself, or in your workout, you have to become a good follower. I became an excellent follower, and I still get better every day. You have to follow those who are doing what you want to do. That's how you're going to become a leader in this economy right now. It doesn't matter that there's a recession going on. It doesn't matter that the depression is coming. It doesn't matter that the interest rate is rising. Follow those who are doing what you want to do. You not your mom, not your dad, not your brother, not your sister, not what they told you what you want to do, what you want to do, Dan, what you want to do, Najam and Dean and everybody that's listening here live later on. Start following what you want to do, but you're too scared. You don't have the guts. You don't have the inside energy to do that. You just don't have it. How do I know that? Because that's how I was. And I needed to get it. I had to borrow that belief from Bob. And Bob gave me that belief. And now I want to give you that belief. And you have to get better every day. As a leader in this economy, you have to get better every day. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. You're living, most of us are living in the past. We're living in the story. Or we're living in the future in the worry and doubt. So you're living in two different worlds. But life is happening now. We only have now. Right now, we only have now. There's no yesterday. There's no a month ago. It doesn't matter that you suffered. It doesn't matter that you slept hungry. It doesn't matter that you get beaten. It doesn't matter you get abused. I sympathize with you. I love you. It doesn't, you have to put it on the side. And we have to move. You have to let go of that story. You're living in the old story or you're living in the future. We got to start living in the now and get better every day. And this leadership now in this economy, you have to inspire your team. You got to share your vision. You got to lead with a vision. They have to believe in you. How are people going to follow you? How did I get almost 20,000 followers in under a year? People on LinkedIn are jumping. I can't even keep up with the messages because people are inspired. People have to follow good leaders, and you have to do the same. So I became a good follower, and I keep getting better. I'm just giving you the tidbits of what it takes. You just have to say, yes, I need that help. Now, I'm going to break it to you. This will only happen, Dean and Jam and Lori and Paul and everybody that's listening later on. This will only happen if you have a goal, if you have a worthy ideal. And that worthy ideal came from Earl Nightingale. He said, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. A worthy ideal is whatever is worthy to Dean, whatever is worthy to Dan, to Lori, to Jam, to Kamal, to Paul. What is worthy to you? It has to be success is the progressive realization of worthy. Every day you get better. Every day we're going to get a little better than yesterday. At the end of today, I'm going to ask myself two questions. What did I do good? And how can I get better? It doesn't matter that something didn't go my way. It doesn't matter that I lost something in the market. It doesn't matter that some of you might not buy the book, come to the coaching. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to ask myself two questions. What did I do well? And how am I going to get better? Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. You have to understand this. It's not just this moment. It's every day, every moment. Okay? How do you achieve goals? You achieve goals by building a team. You're not going to do it by yourself. If you think you're going to do it by yourself, you're kidding. Now, you can do it. Love you too, Dan. That's so awesome. You can do it if you do an invention and sell it. If you do some crazy stuff and you should really launch it out there and sell it. But if you want to start growing a real estate team, if you want to start growing an insurance team, a financial genius, some kind of banking, you need a team. You need somebody to go with you. That's why I have these mastermind partners. We mastermind $100 million deal, $20 million deal, $10 million investment, $20,000 investment, different things. But you need a team that believes in you. And when you come to my community, you're going to get access to some of these people. Now, you're not going to get that on day one. You have to come in it to give. And that's the power of the mastermind. That's why you have to start showing up if you want some of that. And I started getting it. I started understanding, setting and achieving worthy goals. That is more mindset than strategy. Because for 21 years, had all the degrees, wasn't happening. Started studying mindset, starting understanding who I am, understanding the identity and the self, started believing in myself a whole lot more, borrowing that belief from Bob, 95% mindset, 5% said, you need a funnel. Dan's the man. You need a website. Somebody will do it for you. You need the computer. You go to Mac and you buy it. You go to buy a Dell, whatever you want. That's strategy, but it's all mindset. If we don't change your mindset, you're not going to change. Now, one of the things that Bob really spent a lot of time on, and this is something I really want to teach you, you have to learn to make decisions fast. If you're one of the kind that would sit on the fence and take you forever to decide, you're deciding slow. And all decision makers, all leaders, when you're running a company, running an organization, you have to make decisions fast and quickly. Those who reach decisions promptly and definitely know what they want and generally get it. And what happens when that happens? People start following you. You become the man of the night, the woman of the night. You become the leader in your company. People will see that you are it, and they will make way for you. You will start becoming knowing, having, becoming. Now, you're not going to have that on day one, but I can teach you how to do that. Now, you might say, Kamal, doesn't mean I make silly, crazy decisions? No. You have to do your due diligence, but you got to decide. Like if I ask you right now, do you like this or not? You should say yes or no. Maybe I like it. So many people are stuck in do it, don't do it. Jump, don't jump. Go, don't go. Love them, hate them. So your mind goes berserk. You're like an imbalanced wire. And this reminds me of once when I was working with Lori before she became a client. I said, Lori, you're gonna have to jump. And she's like, you gotta jump. And she'll talk in a minute. I said, Lori, you're gonna have to jump. And she's like, jump. I said, yeah, just jump. Just jump. And it's been the best ride. It's been incredible. Sorry, I can't keep up with all the comments. I love that. You were, look at that. When I get you to announce that news, that is so cool. That's so cool. Why don't we do that right now, Lori? Can you on mic tell us what happened? That's a beautiful news. Go ahead, Lori.
I've been telling you about this. It's an honor to do this. So at my office, we have 250 real estate agents. And I was selected as a candidate to be on what they call the Agent Leadership Council. And, you know, I don't even want to say I was competing, because there's no competing. It's either they're going to select you or they're not going to select you. And I got the email, I signed the paperwork. I'm pretty excited about it because it's not a paid position, but it is a paid position because I get to serve. And I know when I serve and help newer agents and I help the office grow and I help the office develop a great culture, that's all going to come back, right? And there are perks because you get special learning events, you get special trainings that are just for the group. There are like 7 of us out of 250 agents. So I'm very blessed by that. You know, this is not the first. Years ago, back in 2012, I did this for like 3 years in a row, 10, 11, 12. And then I hadn't seen that again for a lot of years. I hadn't had that opportunity, but you know, yeah. So, you know, Kamal, you helped me get there. I mean, you know,
Awesome.
I had a very good first half, a little bit of bumpy roads, you know, over the summer and into the fall, but you know, I feel the comeback. I feel like I'm coming back stronger than I did before. So I can feel that happening, and it was a little slower and now it's starting to pick up. It's starting to pick up. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm really excited about it, actually. And you know, I know be as loose as ashes. Kamal always says just be as loose as
ashes. That's right. It's happening, and it's gonna happen, and it's gonna continue happening, right? I mean, the idea is you saw the idea, you accepted it, and you jumped, and here you are.
Yes, I want this for everybody. I mean, you know, you got to put the bank account aside. You just got to stop thinking about the bank account, because the more you think about what's not there, the more of it you get, the more of not there you get. The more you think about what's in front of you and what's ahead of you, even in the short term. And I like to live my life. Kamal recommended this, live your life in 24-hour blocks, because what you do is your bank account balance, if anybody's going through that, that's in the past. And what you focus on is going to expand. So why not focus on the present, on your goals, because your goals are present. They're in your head. So you already know if they're in your head that you can get them, because they wouldn't be in your head if you couldn't, right? So I think about that all the time, Kamal. It's in my head and it's on paper, but it's in my head and I'm thinking about them all day long, every day, all day, every day. And if you're focused on something other than that, and other than good, then you're going to get all that negative stuff, because it's all about the paradigm. The paradigm is going to take you down or it will bring you up. It's your choice. And it's really, and here's the thing, Kamal, I couldn't learn how to, this is my second go around with you. on the thinking into results. And I'm glad that I did it the second time, because the first time just wasn't enough. I'm glad I'm doing it a second time.
Yeah.
Because see, that's the thing, is people think, well, you already did that before, you know, that's like other people's opinions, which don't matter. But they don't understand that your mind and your success is all about the repetition that you create. So if you're creating repetition day in and day out, it's not a sum of the time thing, it's an all of the time thing. And, you know, yeah, do you get pushed back a little bit? Sure, that happens. You're a human being. But, you know, if you don't have a coach to push you, like, you know, I mean, there have been times, Kamal, because that paradigm is so strong. And if I didn't have Kamal, I'd be like, you know, pushed way, way back. So, you know, it's nice, because it's like you said this before, it's like a rubber band, right? So
That's
you
right.
stretch, and then maybe, and you stretch really, you know, far, and then you bounce back. And then you stretch again, but only this time you go a little bit further in the stretch. And then maybe you just bounce back a little bit. And then next time you do it, maybe it just boom, you know, or maybe you're like some people that I know that stretch and it breaks the first time. Because that can happen too. So anything can happen. It depends on how hard of a time you give yourself. And Kamal always says to me, don't give yourself a hard time.
No,
You know, and you know, that's the thing, you got to listen, and you got to listen to your coach. So I don't know what the, you know, whatever the price, just pay it, because it'll be worth it to you, and you'll get it back. I wrote that in my journal this morning, whatever I put out, I get back. I wrote that in my journal quite a bit, so that, you know, like whatever you're giving, whether it be your time, your talent, or your treasure, whether it's paying for something because you're worthy of it. And that's the thing, is you got to feel worthy of it. So if you're paying for something that is going to, it's an investment in you. It's not about a car or a new house, it's about you. So I can't think of a better investment. And then when you're giving to others and sharing with others and helping others, it all comes back. You don't give to get, it just happens. Thank you, Kamal.
Thank you, and congratulations on that leadership role. That's impressive, and I love it. So can't wait to toast soon when we meet in Florida on your new license and all that new adventure that you're on. So I just love it. So I'm proud of you. I mean, this is the thing. Lori mentioned just a couple of things, but I want to point one key element, because I'm going to help you change. There's only two ways you can change your mind: emotional impact or repetition. Emotional repetition. So when you study something for the first time, people read a book and throw it. Like, what do you go? I was kind of like this. I'm studying thinking into results. I'm studying Think and Grow Rich now for the fourth time. And every time I see it, I change. Look at this. Our beliefs are based on our evaluation of something. So when I read something in this book, Thinking into Results or Think and Grow Rich, whatever I'm reading is based on what I believe, based on my perception, based on my imagination, based on my will and reasoning. But the more I understand me, the different that I get out of it. Frequently, when we evaluate a situation, our belief about that situation will change. I'm going to teach you to see more things around you. You're going to become so amazed. The opportunity is in front of your eyes. You are just not aware. I am not as aware. I'm doing this because I want to become more aware. On my goal card, I'm doing it because I want to be more aware. What does more aware mean? I can see more opportunities. I can feel better. I can fix my body because my mind tells my body what to do. I just become more aware. We are an extension of spirit. I don't know what you believe in. So we have this power that's coming to and through us with that extension. Now, as we lift our awareness, we are becoming powerful. Now, that's not in ignorance, that's just in knowledge. So I'm moving from not knowing to knowing, and I want you to start knowing. Your current beliefs right now are what you learned before. And some of those beliefs have to go. Some of the beliefs that grandma gave me about money are no good. I love you, grandma, and I love you, my mom. My mom's still around. But you know what? Those things are not, gotta go. Because money does grow everywhere. Money is available. And money is easy to get. And money comes to me day and night. And it's not, you don't have to work hard to earn money. You have to work. You go to serve, and then you're gonna get that money. So there's some beliefs ingrained in all of us from our childhood that we need to change. That's what Thinking into Results is about. It's going to change the way you live. You're going to see every day, you're going to wake up and you're going to see opportunities. People are going to come into your life. Look at this thing on the left. I'm so happy and grateful now that I use my actions to bring my beautiful vision to life. How deep is that? I mean, you can spend a week, just do an essay on that thing. Check your beliefs with respect to what you think you can accomplish in your personal and business life. Are you telling yourself you're going to get to the millionaire level, or are you doubting? Where is your mind? Are you on the negative? If you think you can't, you can't. If you think you can, you can. Where do you want to be? But how do you be positive all the time? This is not just about positive attitude. How do you shift? That's the shifting. We have a goal, we have a desire, something that you really want. And I'm going to show you a 2-minute video in a minute here. That's incredible about your desire and goal and what you can accomplish. But I want you to let go. I want you to reach and feel that power of what you have, because we have everything within us already. We're just becoming more aware of our power. That's what we're doing. We're uncovering that power. So goals, and Lori mentioned that, thank you for that, Lori, are for us to grow. We might think we want more money. We want bigger homes, better cars, and we deserve that. Like, I like nice jackets. I like to have my nice BMW. I like to have a nice watch. You know, it's a beautiful watch. But really, it's for us to grow, to become, right? To accomplish a goal, you need to be inspired. Something big. Something that's going to wake you up at night. So, you can sleep later. But that comes the question, what do you really want? What's inspiring to Dean? What's inspiring to Najam? Welcome, Kathy. Good to see you here on the Zoom. Sorry, I just didn't read the name. I know I saw the picture before. Welcome, Kathy Emmons. Good to see you here. So what's inspiring to you? Can you let go of, you don't have money right now, you can't afford it, the kids needs things, your husband or boyfriend needs things. What do you want? I'm not talking about the needs of feeding the kids and feeding yourself. What are you dreaming about? That fantasy. That's what I'm talking about. That's what this is about. This is not about getting an extra 1% increase in pay or 2% or 5%. This is a quantum leap when you study thinking into results. Your result will go 5 times. How do I know that? Because mine did. And if I can do it, you can do it. How did I lose 35 pounds? I was doing P90X for 2 years. And the weight wasn't going away because my image of myself was not changing. I had to change my self-image. Once I changed my self-image, the weight went away like that. That's the mindset. Remember that 95% mindset, 5% strength? It's all about that. Same screen as before, but I just want you to think, like, what do you really want, right? Think about it. And that's what you want to write on that piece of paper if you're writing things down. And if you're not, I suggest you do a couple of things that comes to your mind, because I'm probably inspiring you to think bigger. And when these moments come, you got to jot it down. This is a higher frequency language coming to you. And you have to catch it. And if you don't catch it, it's going to go away. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. If you want to know how the law of attraction works, law of vibration, we can move you to a different frequency on vibration by just your thoughts, because thoughts is energy. Imagine how you know how to do that. That's awareness. This is probably, this picture here on the screen, it's probably the best one in all these, but you might not understand it because this is really for the clients and the students who are studying thinking into results with me. That's what we study. We study the mind. We understand the mind. Think and Grow Rich is the law of success, and it's a summary of it. But this picture here shows the mind. Most people now are stuck. They're thinking of their results. They look at their bank account, and they're thinking, I can't spend the money. I can't buy the jet, can't buy the car, can't afford this. And it keeps happening. Your income right now is happening because of what you're thinking. Habitually, you are making that 100,000 or 200 or that million habitually. Now, if you want to change it, we have to change your thinking. That thinking of dream, that raging dream, we have to change that thinking. But if I don't help you understand your beliefs, you won't even allow the dream to come in. Because if grandma or mama told you that something's wrong with money, or you should not have a big boat, you should not be fancy out there, you should be modest, you're not going to allow yourself to go there. So we need to help you understand that part. So we think of something big that we really want, and we get fully engaged with it. Feeling is the conscious awareness of vibration. So when you think of a new goal, a new desire, you move your feelings there. Everything is already here. And if you can think of from the end, your body will go into motion to get you the results that you want. That's how you attract people into your life. That's how I got Laurel into my life. That's how Bob came into my life. That's how James Dentley, Harrison Klein, Johnny McKinney, Tom Ziegler. How is that possible? Forbes Riley. They don't know me. I'm an obscure man. They are super rich, super famous. But you can attract the right people into your life if you want. And we can teach you how to do that. Even if you're looking for a partner, you can do that. Well, we can teach you that. And if you don't learn the mindset, you end up getting the same stuff. How do I know that? Because that was happening to me. So I'm passing to you what I've learned in a short amount of time. And imagine where we could be 6 months from now. When you look back and say, wow, look what we've done. And some of you, my clients who are listening to this, you know how it feels. So it's like passing that gift, that energy. It's just so incredible. This scene here is about the leadership in the new economy. That's one of the slides that I did in Reno, Nevada, on stage with the Laurel. It's incredible, 120 people live. And again, in a short amount of time to be speaking on stage, there's so many invites. It's beautiful. You have to learn how to do that because you don't just need the technical stuff and the computers you need to get this team together. So think about it. I don't know what kind of company you're running, Dean, Jan, Kathy, but what have you done to everybody in your team right now? People are not keeping the people. People come to companies and leave like this. They're leaving faster than they're coming. How do I know that? Because I've experienced 5 companies in the 24 years I've been working in North America. People come and go so fast because companies don't care about the people. They love money and use people. And you have to change the way it works. You have to love people and use the money. You might want to write that one down. Love people, use the money. It's the other way around in so many other companies. It's a shame. So you as a leader in your company, in where you are in your home, right? What have you done for each member of your team? Have you allowed every one of them? Because I help teams, help companies to really nurture that skill. I doubled a company's sale in under 2.5 years, from 15 million to 30. How did I do that? Thinking into results. You got to build a culture that people that care, and those who don't, they have to go. Most people, when you speak to them, when you nurture them, they will go with you if you are fair and if you are reasonable, and if your expectations are managed with the right level of compensation. I mean, it cannot be. You have to love people, use money. Most people are the other way around. They got to in reverse, and you have to create that trust. So this slide is really specific for companies. I'm working on this with Tom Ziegler. And again, I'm so proud of this picture because if I look at it, it's like, man, we got a responsibility to share this with you so quickly. Like I don't have a lot of time. I have a very little amount of time to impress you, to show you what you can have, right? This is a big deal. Because what Andrew Carnegie did with the laws of success, and he passed it to Napoleon Hill, and he summarized the theory of this in here, in the thing I wrote rich. And then that for 61 years, Bob studied it. And now Bob gave it to us and thinking into results. That's why I call it. It's the key. It's the key to a better life. And who doesn't want a better life? I know every one of you wants a better life. That's why you're here. We all want more. Does anybody know why do we want more? What's this thing about us wanting more? What is that about? Let's see if anybody would like to share. Why do we feel like we want more? What is that about?
I think it's just in us. It's ingrained in us. It's like innate.
Innate in us. I love that. All right. Can we go one step deeper? Why is it innate in us?
Because that's what the spirit, it's about spirit. It's about for me, I call it Holy Spirit. Everybody's different, but because the spirit is always moving and the spirit is in you, and that spirit wants better for you always. Mm-hmm. And we talk ourselves out of it all the time, and that's like craziness. I call that the enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk ourselves out of everything, right? Most ideas are born still.
Paradigm. Yep. Yeah, because we get ideas. It's like when you get ideas, instead of writing them down, you taught me this. If you get, what we do is we go, oh, I can't do that because, and then you throw it out. And then you don't realize that that idea could be something so good, but you're not thinking about it enough. You just dismiss it because you're having your limiting beliefs around it.
That's right. That's right. Dean, go ahead. Love to hear your voice. What do you think?
Oh, well, I was going to say, I think it's, there's feeling content in a good, healthy way, but I think just human nature to be stagnant, um, doesn't allow us to flourish within ourselves, and certainly for the people around us that are important, whether it's our families or communities. So, um, again, I think a healthy sense of wanting to grow and obtain, so that you can support, and help others, give back to others around you, is sort of the angle that, if I think about my needs and wants, they're very basic and simple, but I want to, be able to pour into others.
Mhm.
It doesn't even necessarily have to be financial. Um, I have 3 children, and I look at this world and the lens that I view everything through. Each thought involves them. Every step that I take each day, and that's the growth that I'm most interested in this lifetime, is the growth of my children, and certainly, that will impact everybody who they touch in their lives. It's of course a giant domino effect. So
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And congrats on the kids. And it's what it is. It's pouring into others and helping others grow. I have the biggest pleasure when I see others learning, growing, and achieving what they want. The psychic money is more important than the physical money. Well, money is cool when you get paid for your service, but it's more when you see others benefiting from what you've done, how you talk to them, how you raise them, how you help them achieve something. That psychic part is good. Now, Lori put something in the chat. Spirit is always rising. So spirit's coming from above, right? Life is coming to and through you, and we are this human experience. So there's a spirit to us. So we are rising towards the spirit. So we're always naturally wanting to, we're having this human experience, but we really want more. And that's why once you win a medal, you want another medal. Once you get a car, suddenly you want another car. Once you get a house, 2 bedroom, now you're gonna get a 4 bedroom house. You just keep growing. Naturally, it's innate to grow because the spirit is always rising. Yeah, one thing is about to get bored. It's another one to be, okay, I'm fine, I'll be settled. I'll just, be comfortable into retirement and do nothing and just, live a nice, safe life. There's nothing wrong with that. But those who want to achieve, those who want to grow, it's okay to want more. That's where this material comes in. It's okay to dream. It's okay to have a lot of money. It's okay to have multiple homes. It's okay to have a vacation home and a fun home and a tennis court and whatever it is that you want. So many people have this idea that, no, why do you need all that? Well, just because I want it. It's not your business why. Don't tell anybody why you want it. You just want it. There is no prerequisite to want. If you want it, you just want it. Don't even tell your wife yet you want it. Don't even tell your husband that you want it. Share it with them, but you have to decide. You have to take that responsibility that you want it. There are some things I buy for myself. My wife doesn't need to know. It's for me. Now she buys me all kind of stuff, and I get in trouble. So what? But it's for me, right? So that's the part where we have to start living this fulfilled life, right? Now I want to show you the magic. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, all I was going to say, one of the things that always runs through my mind when consider needs and then wants. I mean, one of the things that I want is margin in life. I was listening to your conversation, I think it was 2 days ago, to the point where it doesn't matter what's happening, in the macro world. You have enough margin, north, south, east, and west, that you're not getting wound up by every ripple in the ocean, or even storm necessarily. Yeah, you
Yeah,
might get beat up, but you're gonna pull through.
that's right. That's right. See, once I teach you how to become more aware, you're going to neglect the environment. Most people are operating from the current environment. They see disease and famine and wars and negative media, and they get frustrated. They get depression. They get dis-ease. because they're on the negative side. Now, it's not their fault. The system is built that way. It's not broken. That's how they built it. And we're going to help you change to come to the knowledge where we can just be aware of a lot more opportunities. Never mind that there's a recession. There's an opportunity right beside your house right now. There's a building that's about to be bought. There's a business that needs your money, needs your expertise. I see more opportunity now than ever before. And I keep seeing more. Why? Because I've been wanting more. I want more. Why do I want this? Because I want. So we're living at this bottom here, results. This is our money, our income, where we are. We're at a certain level. But then we have a goal, a desire, something that we really want. When we make that decision fast, remember I told you, Bob spent 3 things with me: decisions, shifting paradigm, and self-image, and making decisions. You got to make a decision that I want it and I'm going to get it. And I'm going to stop going backwards. Now, this goal, this new thing that you want is already here. You just don't have it. Somebody else has it. Everything is already here. How do I know that? Because somebody else has $10 million. Somebody else has a state home that's worth $2 million. Somebody else has a yacht or whatever it is that you're aspiring to get, aspiring to grow into, helping a village. I want to help 1,000 people. Somebody else helped 1 million people. I want to help 1,000. I'm starting there. And if they can do it, I can do it. I've done so much, I'm going to do more. I've helped 70 people so far. I want to help 1,000 people. So this goal, these lines on this picture, they're representing a frequency and vibration. So right now, your income has a certain frequency and vibration. Everything is energy. This goal that you want is at a certain frequency and vibration. And we're going to teach you how to move there with your feelings. And you're going to start living from the end. And once you live that from the end, your subconscious mind, which gets all the energy from God, spirit, and from a group that you start masterminding with, is going to give you ideas. That's going to command your body to take certain action, to do certain things. That's how I went from no investments to multiple investments. 1 stream of income from employment to 3 streams of income from different opportunities. That's how it is. No anxiety, calm and ease, live the life you want, do what you love. Now, would that be worth it? Now, I'm sure it would be worth it. Everybody would say, oh, yeah. But everybody said, I'll do this when the kids leave the house. I'll do this when I get 65. I'll do this, and then they change their mind. The key is no. You got to stop waiting. We only have now. We don't have tomorrow. Most of us will most likely wake up tomorrow morning. Most of us will. But we really don't know. We just have now. So we got to make that decision as if this is the best day, this is the best time, and stop looking back. And not live it too much in the future and worry and doubt and indecision. I'm going to teach you that in here, and not live in the past and the history. Start living now and taking action. And we do that, and we get on this frequency and vibration, and suddenly life will start changing. It's a system. Thinking in the dark will teach you all that. It's all packaged. And that's what Bob did. 60 years he studied this. And then with him and Sandy, they put it together. And all you have to do, just make a decision. You got to make a decision that you want a big change in your life. And that change will start coming. And all you have to do today is say, you know what? I want something different. I'll book an appointment with Kamal. I'd like to see what he's up to. And where is the video? I want to show you a quick video. There we go. This video, I don't know if you've seen it. Maybe Lori, you've seen it. The rest of you, I'm not sure. Is all about, if you can dream it, you can get it. We'll watch this video, then I'll show you another slide, and then we'll start in part 2 of the mastermind tonight. So here we are, and we'll take some questions. Let's see.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers, free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, my God, I'm going to change something. Now we say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your step. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.
I hope you enjoyed this video. We put a lot of good information up here, and it causes everything in your life to get better. If you'd like us to know.
So good. I love this video. It's got some time on it, but it's beautiful because it illustrates the point so clearly. You don't have to need it. You have to want it. It has to be a goal. It has to be something you really want. So welcome, Paula. Welcome, Carlos. Carlos was here already, but there we go. Sorry about that. The internet is a little bit on the edge. They're coming tomorrow to fix it. And that's why I'm in this part of the house, because the internet is the 5G, supposedly. We got the 5G, but, you know, it's doing what it's doing. So we're trying that out. So that's most of what I had to share. I have my calendar link here, Dean and Kathy and Jam, and welcome Paula as well. I only have a couple more slides, and I just want to welcome everybody to the mastermind. I just want to give you a chance to ask a question or two. There's just one more slide in the presentation that I want to show how I do it, how we really help people to really change and really make a decision that can impact you. Because it was an hour like this, 40 minutes with Bob and one of his elite mentors that has changed the course for me. And this could be your hour, right? I'm just gonna move the text here. Decide to change. Decide on this thing that, you know, there is something for you here for sure. How do I know that? Because there was something for me as well. And the way it works, book an appointment and we'll talk about it in detail. But basically, for the most part, some people work with me privately as one-on-one, 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week. Some will work for 6 months. Some would work the first 6 months and another 6 months. And you'll be in my life. I'll be in your life. You'll have somebody in your corner. We also have Paula. Me and Paula are collaborating on coaching as well. So you'll get two for for one. And it's going to change your life. Closed Facebook group, access to us, multiple streams of income, all different things, multiple book clubs. So there are many benefits. But the best thing is you'll have me in your corner. So that's the calendar link. Book the appointment. No one's left behind. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry how much it's going to cost. Money is available already. It's already here, as a matter of fact. So say yes to you, and you're going to have all this experience handed over to you. You're going to have it on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer, and you're going to have this massive success, this mentorship that's taken Bob 61 years, put it in a nice little package, a system to really achieve, a system to live. It's a new life. It's guaranteed to work, 100% guaranteed to work. And that's the best part of it. It's guaranteed to work if you do the work. Everybody in my client group that does the work gets results, 100%. 100%. But they do the work. If they don't do the work, it doesn't work. And that's the key. Now, you usually have two choices. You either decide to do something or decide not to do something, and it's all good. I'm going to be here. But most people, right? Most people would decide that they want to get better. You want to get better because if you don't get better, you're more likely to get worse. Some people are surviving, and you don't want to be just surviving up and down, up and down, up. You want to get better. And this is perhaps be your lifeline, or perhaps be a way for you to bounce ideas and grow in a community that is phenomenal. So book the appointment, and we'll see how we can work together. And I'd love to have you in my client group, and I look forward to meeting you one-on-one. Who's got a question? Hello, Paula. How you doing? From Toronto. We've got international community right here.
Good evening. Well, it's nice to recognize some of the names and put a picture to the name.
That's
Okay.
good.
Hey, Lori.
Very good. Any questions before we go to part 2 of the course? I gotta get a glass of water. So this is kind of the first part of the seminar where I show you how you can really get to that next level, right? And if you want, I'll be honored to have you on the group coaching or one-on-one, whichever way you choose. So if there's no questions, maybe I'll give Paula a chance to speak for a minute to introduce herself. Paula is I'll say a couple things, and then Paula would talk a bit more about herself. She's an amazing coach. She's a healer as well. She's from Toronto. She's also got trained by Bob Proctor. She's also trained by Tony Robbins. She spent, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 years with Tony Robbins. She goes on events with him. So she's got both worlds of business, mastery, mindset, and then she's got the psychology from Bob, and we collaborate together on many things. She's just phenomenal. So, you know, it's, and for us, it doesn't matter if you choose me as a coach, both, it's Paula, it's creation. She's just incredible. We've been working together on a couple things and help each other out. And it's just been a joy to work with her and learn more about the material, because she's got a lot of experience. So Paula, Mike's yours.
Oh, thank you, Kamal. Just gonna do like Joseph McClendon. Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it. Keep it coming. It's so nice to be here. I thought I would jump into the mastermind tonight, since I've been calling and texting some of you guys and be like, hey, join us for the mastermind. Like Kamal said, yes, I started my journey to try to solve a problem at the time when I got introduced to Tony Robbins, and then I got back into Bob Proctor through a network marketing company, actually, to study both. I was not in a good place either. So I was going through working a corporate job, trying to start a franchise, and I had a baby. So I was failing in everything, you can say, in my relationship, my business, my health. It was just a little chaotic, and things just went downhill. And the last chart that Kamal showed, that was the one that really triggered me. Because somebody at work said, oh, you have the gold handkerchief, you have to stay here. And I was like, oh, no, like, I don't want to stay here the rest of my life. And I was not getting the promotion either, even though I had reached the top of the supply chain where I was. And I wanted to move. And And it was just that time that I said, there has to be another way. I felt stuck, frustrated. I developed thyroid problems, and I started studying, going to seminars. I got to meet Bob in person. I was very lucky to meet Bob in person. And he told me at that time, this was 2017, he told me, do what she's doing, talking about one of the consultants. And I kind of hesitated. He's like, okay. And I was part of Streaming Club. I was part of, I became a client in 2018. And it really changed things when I finally decided to invest in an organized program instead of YouTube University. And Tony Robbins was great. Seminars are great, but if you're not doing the follow-up, it's too much. It cannot be integrated. So I still go. I still learn from Tony Robbins on how to present. That's his teacher on storytelling. But the material integration came from Bob Proctor. And the more I studied TIR, it's like, wow, he put years and years of information into this program, and it just keeps blowing me away because I keep finding new things. And I'm in the, I don't know, 4th, 5th round of studying. And I'm like, I don't remember this part of this lesson, even though I watched it close to hundreds of times now. But yeah, so don't wait, because that curved, it just gets bigger. And by law, if you're not growing, you're dying. And that was what I got hooked on. I was like, pardon my French, holy shit, I'm dying. Like I literally got into shock. It's like, I'm dying, because I knew I wasn't growing. I knew I was stuck and I needed to get unstuck. So that's a little bit about me. Thanks. Come on, go get your water.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. So thank you so much for sharing that. It's just been incredible. And I'm learning so much from you, Paula, and everybody as well. Liana, welcome. She's one of our amazing new clients from Big Table, Laurel's community. So welcome. And Lori as well, working together for a year. And there's so much more. The email was having some issues. So some people that wanted to be here didn't get the message. So you know how emails work, technology. So what I'm going to share with you next is 3 minutes about, Think and Grow, and then we're going to jump into what Think and Grow Rich is about. It's like the part of the mastermind that we do on a Thursday night. It's going to be a beautiful video that would really get you understanding why it's important to study this book, why it's important to study Thinking into Results, right? So this will give my voice a break, and Bob is going to explain quite a few things. So I'm going to get my water as well. So, hello, Liana, good to see you on camera. The other thing that I probably didn't mention during the presentation, that once you get access to our training, you'll have it for life. And very rare that people will give something for life, but this material, you will have it for life. So this is the worthy ideal. I'm gonna share with you the first 3 minutes, and then let's see if it allows me well. And here we go.
Hello there and welcome. I want to congratulate you for taking part in this program, Thinking into Results. You probably think this just has to do with your work, but it really doesn't. This has to do with your family. It has to do with your social life, your health. It has to do with your life. I began studying this material close to 50 years ago. My life has changed so dramatically. I live in a healthy body. I'm happy. I'm wealthy. I have friends all over the world. And I have business all over the world. And it's all because of this material. You have absolutely no idea where this is going to take you. And when we talk about results, let's understand this. It's what we think that ultimately manifests as results. And that may seem like a bit of an exaggeration, or maybe even a fairy tale to you at this point. But as you start to study it, you're going to realize it's not an exaggeration and it's not a fairy tale. It's real. So take this program seriously. Your leaders are going to give you something that you're going to be grateful for the rest of your life. I am forever grateful every day to have this information, because you see, I'm in charge of me. I'm in charge of my world, and you're going to take charge of your world. You'll no longer be a victim of circumstance or a victim of any kind, because you're going to take responsibility for your life and the results you get. We never have to blame, we never have to look at anybody else, and we are in control of how we think, how we feel, how we act, and therefore the results we get. You're going to start loving how you spend your days when you've got thinking into results in your pocket and in your mind. Enjoy it.
Hello, I'm Sandy Gallagher, your partner on this journey, thinking into results. When I first met Bob Proctor, I was already a successful business attorney, and I thought my life couldn't get much better, but it did. My life has expanded dramatically. I've learned a lot from Bob since we first met. He got me to shift my thinking and see the relationship of my mind to my behavior and my results. Bob Proctor is widely considered one of the greatest teachers in the world on the topic of human potential and growth. He's worked with many of the top companies around the world, from banks to airlines to insurance companies to computer giants like IBM. Working with Bob generates phenomenal results. One of the most valuable concepts that Bob taught me is the importance of setting goals. Not just any goal, not a goal you know how to achieve. I'm talking about a goal, a dream, a vision, something you think, something you know, in fact, is beyond your experience today. Because the true purpose of a goal is to help you grow in your awareness of yourself and of your team. What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What are your goals? Let's see how you can begin thinking in a new and powerful way and begin discovering your true purpose in life. Are you ready?
So you see, it's very, very big. So why thinking into results? Why think and go rich, right? I don't know if you guys know the story. We can go there. We can answer questions right away as part of the mastermind, or we can watch the first part of Bob that really talked about how it came together. What's your thought? So welcome to the mastermind part of the meeting on Thursday nights, and we do that every Thursday. Pretty much I haven't skipped the Thursday for a long time, unless I was in the plane somewhere. But so, how many have read this book? So Liana's read it. Lori, Paula, Najam, and Kathy. Carlos was here. I guess he's gonna come back. Dean, have you read this book? Ah, look at that. He's got the updated copy. Nice. Nice. And Kathy read it as well.
I bought 2 books in the last 6 weeks. I'm reading another one first. And so this will be, ready when I'm finished with book A. So.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Well,
I have a question. What do you think about the movie that came out, Think and Grow Rich?
it was very interesting. I watched it with the director. I think it takes a little bit away from here. I think people will, you really need to study this material. I know it was not a bad movie, it's a good movie, but I got more from the book, honestly, because I'm studying the book. I spent time on many, many pages. Lori comes to many of the sessions, Eliana as well, she's on the weekend. And I find more now from the written text than the videos, because the video kind of takes away, lightens up the story, makes it just color. It takes away a lot of substance and takes away from us thinking. I want us all to learn how to think. And we have to think. We don't spend enough time thinking. So that I found that part was a bit weak in the movie, but overall, I enjoyed it. Good question. Ah, look at the cat. It's so good.
I'd like to add, Kamal, that
Sure.
if you have not bought the book yet, try to get the classic version, because they do some edits in the new one. I had a study buddy and we would read it every morning, the 30 days per chapter. And there's some key things that Bob will talk about it that they removed them from the new version. So I do like the stories on the new version. I have the audiobook, so I listened to those. But there's some difference. I would love to get a hold of Bob's book, like it's probably more original and see what other things are in there that they take away.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have a marked up PDF from Bob, the one I studied with him. And I think it's marked up the way he marked up his book, I think. But you cannot be sure, right? But it's that's the book that we studied with him in the master classes. So I'm going to share with you this video. Unless there's questions. You have both. Beautiful. Yeah. I was with a group on Monday, and I was reading in my classic text, and they're reading in the new one. The stories have changed, right? The story changed a little bit, and sometimes they change dramatically. Like on Monday, I was reading in, I think it was in the persistence chapter. And the story was about Starbucks instead of some old story back from the 1900s. So some would resonate with the new generation. Some would not. Like, I'm middle-aged, so this is the way it is. I don't mind the older stories. I don't mind the Shakespearean language. I don't mind the older type of language and stories. So it all depends. Get both. They're not expensive. But I prefer the classic. I've tried them, and I like this one. So this next video, I mean, I could summarize the story, but I think Bob will do a better job than me. He spoke on stages hundreds of times. And so let's watch it, and then we'll take some Q&A at the end. And if you want to interrupt in the middle time, if it's something you want to, sometimes there's a clip that comes and it's like, I want to hear that again. Just say it, right? And then we can pause, try to rewind, see if the Zoom let us do that. Okay. So how did it all begin? And why? Like, why did it all begin? How did he really find that out? So let's see.
To understand these 13 principles, this absolutely incredible philosophy, I think we should go back to where it all started. And as you get involved in this, as you mentally build this image in your mind, you're going to see how all this has fallen in place. And it's absolutely incredible the more you think about it. Now, I have been studying this for so long, it's really a part of my life. But we have to go way back to 1908. Things were pretty primitive then relative to today. We weren't moving at the speed we're moving at now. Napoleon Hill was a young reporter for a little magazine. And someone, probably the editor, decided they would run a series of articles of interviewing wealthy people. Hill was fortunate enough to get an interview, a 3-hour interview, with the wealthiest man in the world, Andrew Carnegie. And he went and he sat and he interviewed him. Now, unbeknownst to Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie was looking for someone that he could give a big project to. And he hadn't yet found anyone. At the end of the 3-hour interview, Andrew Carnegie said to Napoleon Hill, Napoleon, this interview isn't ending, it's just beginning. I want you to come home with me. Hill said he was glad he took him home because he didn't have enough money to rent a hotel room. He spent 3 days with Andrew Carnegie, the wealthiest man in the world. Now think of this. Over those 3 days, Andrew Carnegie shared his philosophy. See, he started out as a poor boy, immigrated from Scotland with his parents just as a boy. They didn't have anything. So he went from nothing to be the wealthiest man in the world. And he shared with Napoleon Hill his whole philosophy. At the end of the 3 days, Carnegie decided that I think this is the man I'm looking for. I guess you could tell by his level of interest in the story, the philosophy of what got him to where he was. There was probably a number of factors came into play. But Carnegie I think he's the guy. And so he asked him a question. Unbeknownst to Napoleon Hill, he only gave him 60 seconds to answer the question. And at the end of the 60 seconds, he would have to make a decision, a monumentous decision, if you think about it. He looked at him. He had a stopwatch in his hand under his desk. And he says, Napoleon, you've spent 3 days with me. You know now how I've accomplished what I've accomplished.
is I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want a yes or no answer. Just a yes or no answer, Napoleon. He said, would you spend or invest the rest of your life in an idea for which you would probably receive no material compensation for at least 20 years? How would you answer that question? I've asked myself on many occasions how I would answer it. In 25 seconds, Napoleon Hill said, yes, he would. He qualified. He passed the essay test. And he had to make a decision. That was a big decision. You're going to run up against decisions. This is one of the 13 principles. Napoleon Hill wrote a whole chapter on decision in his book, Think and Grow Rich. And right on the very first page, he points out that all successful people make decisions very fast. They change them very slow, if and when they change them at all. And he pointed out that people that are not successful make decisions very slow and change them fast and often. I guess that's why Andrew Carnegie gave him 60 seconds. If he took longer, he would be disqualified. How do you make decisions? Now, Carnegie said to Hill, he said, now, Napoleon, I'm going to introduce you to some of the world's most successful people. He said, I'm going to give you letters of introduction. You'll receive no subsidy from me. I want you to go out and write the laws of achievement. He says, it's a shame that people like myself are going to their grave with all this knowledge locked up in their bones. He said, I want it organized. And I want you to organize it. I will give you letters of introduction, and then you're on your own. Now, he said, you're going to run into many tough times, Napoleon. No question about that. So he said, I'm going to give you something that'll help you through those tough times. I want you to write this out. I want you to write every word. No one's going to underline every word. Now, he said, this is a message that you're going to give from yourself to yourself, Napoleon. So it's going to be you talking to you. I want you to write down Andrew Carnegie. I'm not only going to equal your achievements in life, I'm going to meet you at the post and pass you at the grandstand. Well, as the story goes, he threw his pencil on the floor. He says, now you know darn well I'm not going to be able to do that. He says, I know you're not Napoleon, unless and until you believe it. But I want you to repeat that every morning, and I want you to repeat it every night. I want you to look in the mirror, and I want you to repeat that. Looking in your eyes, say, Andrew Carnegie, I'm not only going to equal your achievements in life, I'm going to meet you at the post, and I'm going to pass you at the grandstand. Now, that wasn't an easy thing for Hill to do. He was living with his brother. He had promised his brother that he was going to pay for him to go through college. Now he was going to have to go home and tell his brother he couldn't do that. He had a project that he was working on. It was going to take all his time. And it was going to take every cent that he could get for himself. Then he was afraid to tell his brother what he was going to do because he thought his brother would think he had lost his mind. He's going to work on a 20-year project. Nobody's giving him any money. Nobody's going to pay him. The first day he went and he locked himself in the bathroom. And he looked in the mirror and he whispered it. Andrew Carnegie, I'm not only going to equal your achievements in life, I'm going to meet you at the post and I'm going to pass you at the grandstand. Now, he said he felt when he was saying like he was a darn fool. He said, this isn't going to happen. But he said, I made a commitment that I would do this, so I better do it. So every morning and every night he would do this. Now, he had committed that he would do it for 30 days. Around the middle of the month, he started to think maybe it could happen. By the end of the month, he knew it would happen. Now, I've done a fair amount of study on this over the last 50 years, and anything I've been able to discover is that Carnegie made somewhere in the vicinity of 50 millionaires. Some people say 20. I've read 23. I've read 50. Napoleon Hill has made millions of millionaires. So you see, he did equal his achievements. He went past his achievements, and he did pass them at the grandstand. Here's a poor boy, a young cub reporter for a magazine. How did he do that? Why did he do that? I think he did it strictly on the belief that Carnegie wasn't going to ask him to do anything that was unjust. But why is it that all successful people make decisions very fast and change them slow? And he found out that was true in his research with all these giants. Well, you know, I have never stopped studying it. I probably never will stop studying it. And I'm going to show you something about decision that has the potential to change your life forever. You see, I wanted to know, why do successful people make decisions when they have absolutely no idea how they're going to make it happen? There's a reason for it. Now, many of them are unconscious competence. They don't know why they do. That's just the way they do it. You can become a conscious competent. That's what I'm going to show you. Now, you see, it all starts with our own thinking. See, vibration is a law of the universe. Everything vibrates, nothing rests. Look at the walls around you. They're vibrating. They appear to be still. They're really not still. Look at them through a microscope. You'll see the energy dancing in front of your eyes. Go take a look at a body in a coffin. Now, you'll think I'm really losing it here, but listen and think. Look at the body through a microscope. It is not dead. That body's moving. It's moving so fast it appears to be still. And if it wasn't moving, how would it ever change to dust? Everything moves. We live in an ocean of motion. Make no mistake about it. Every level of vibration is referred to as a frequency, and the beautiful truth is we think on frequencies. Do you know that every great leader that has ever lived, every one of them, they've been in complete unanimous agreement. On one point, they've disagreed on virtually everything else. But this one point they've been in agreement on, that we become what we think about. Solomon put it very well. He was a pretty bright guy. He said, as a person thinketh in their heart. It's not just the thoughts that are running across the screen of your conscious minds. It's the ones you internalize. We truly do become what we think about. See, the thoughts that we're thinking produce the results that we're getting. But remember, I pointed out that we're never satisfied with our results. I don't care how they are. You can be happy with them. You can even celebrate some of them. But you're going to want to do better. And that is because you're a spiritual being, and spirit's always for expansion and fuller expression. It's never for disintegration, and nothing stays where it is. Nothing. We do live in an ocean of motion. The dynamic law of life is create or disintegrate. You're never going to stay where you are. Following what we're teaching, you're going to create. It's a beautiful part. So we're looking at our results and we're saying, but this is where I really want to go. And we point to a star that we're shooting at. And we make a decision, that's what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, everybody does that. And 90-some% say, when this improves, then I'm going to do that. Do you know, it'll never happen. It will never happen because you're not on the right frequency. And you see what happens here, pretty soon the decision fades. And when it fades, so does the goal. The goal disappears. Somebody said, I thought you were working. Yeah, well, I am. I'm still working at it. Do you know what the problem is? You're thinking on the wrong frequency. You see, your thought is down here on the frequency that you're living on. But the way to do what you want to do is not on that frequency. Clearly understand this. All science and all theology, the only two sources of reference we have to go to, tell us nothing is created or destroyed. The way to do anything is already here. Space travel, we've always been able to do it. We just weren't aware of how. You know the neat little cell phones we've got that pretty soon will be obsolete? We've always been able to do that. I remember back when we had the party lines. Hardly anybody had a phone. And then when they got a party line, everybody's on the line. We were able to build beautiful little cell phones then. Do you know the cell phone you've got has more power as a computer than the computer that took the first rocket to the moon? It's magnificent when you think of what we're doing. And it's all in awareness. And that's what you're developing. You're developing awareness. See, the awareness to do everything is already here, but you've got to get on the frequency that it operates on, because everything operates on a frequency. If you phoned your Uncle Harry, you wouldn't expect your mother to answer the phone. Why? Because you dialed Harry's number. You got on Harry's frequency. That's what the number is. It's a frequency. And there's a zillion of them. We know there's an infinite number of frequencies. Everything you want is already here. What you have to do is attract it. And you know something? You're going to learn how to do that. You see, what we really have to do, we have to make a paradigm shift. We're programmed to operate the way we're operating. Why would 97 or 95% of the population keep using a losing formula? They don't know they are. They're giving it everything they've got. We got to shift our thinking. We got to shift the paradigm. Do you know many of the beliefs and the ideas that are controlling your decision-making right now? They were established by some great-grandparent who lived in a different time. But all that stuff is passed down in the genes. It's called genetic conditioning. We got to change that. You see, while you're thinking way down here on this lower frequency, the way to do what you want to do is way up here on a higher frequency. And what's required is a committed decision. A committed decision is when you do it regardless. And when you make a committed decision, this is what I'm going to do. You flip your brain onto that higher frequency, and the way is shown. Now we're going to talk about your sixth sense, your intuitive mind, because that's how it comes to you. You're tapping into universal intelligence. That's what all highly successful people do. Whether they know they're doing it or not is irrelevant. But that's what they're doing. That's what you're going to learn how to do. See, the only criteria you have to have when you set a goal is, do you want it? Do you want it? Doesn't matter how you're going to do it. It doesn't matter where the money's coming from. I once heard a cute story where the El-Rassi, when he was taking transcendental meditation or decided he was going to take it to the world, one of his close associates said, "Where's the money going to come from?" He said, "Wherever it is right now." I always thought it was such a beautiful answer because the truth, everything you need, everything you want is already here. Nothing is created or destroyed. I didn't dream this up. It's the way it is. All science, all theology tell us that. The way to get to the moon was already here, always here. When President John Kennedy asked Dr. Wernher von Braun, who's considered the father of space travel, what it would take to build a rocket that would carry a man to the moon and bring him back safely to Earth. Von Braun answered him in 5 words: the will to do it. The will to do it. Will is a mental faculty that gives us the ability to concentrate. You got to concentrate on what you want. That's all you can concentrate on. And that will keep you on the frequency that you have to be on to attract everything that you need to get there. This is so important. You see, I believe decision where it all starts. It's where it all started for Napoleon Hill. It all started when Carnegie asked him, "Are you prepared to dedicate the rest of your life to an idea for which you'll probably receive no material compensation for at least 20 years? How would you answer that?" You see, he didn't know how to do that. He didn't even believe he could. Do you know what I found? When you set a goal, you don't have to believe it. If you keep repeating it, you'll come to believe it. If you tell yourself a lie often enough, you'll believe it. Way back in 1900, William James from Harvard, he said, "Believe, and your belief will create the fact." So true, and so misunderstood. So what do you want? Compare your dream to Napoleon Hill's idea. Just compare it for a moment. Your idea is probably small by comparison, but if you don't know how to do it, if you don't know where the money's coming from, if you don't know where the help's going to come from, it'll probably seem large. When I took my pen and I sat down and I wrote, I would build a company that operated all over the world. I had no idea how I was going to do it. I certainly didn't have the finances to it. I didn't have the help. I didn't even have an assistant. I was just me in my den writing on a pad. Do you know something? Today, I own a company along with Sandy Gallagher, who is my business partner, and we operate all over the world. These aren't accidents. I'm just an ordinary guy that's doing what the public would consider something extraordinary. But it's not extraordinary to me, and it's not going to be to you when you start to understand these principles and incorporate them into your life. I once read where it said, no amount of reading or memorizing is going to make you successful. It's the understanding and application of wise stuff that can. You're going to study this. I study it every day, for at least an hour, sometimes more, but at least an hour. It's a habit. Habit's something you do unconsciously. You don't even spend any time thinking about it. You just do it. You get dressed by habit. You shower, comb, wash your hair. Habit. Do you know good habits automatically transform our life? The one thing you need if you want to move higher is a greater awareness. People are not earning $100,000 a year because they want to earn $100,000 a year. They're earning $100,000 a year because they're not aware of how to earn $100,000 a month. People aren't alone and lonely because they enjoy being alone and lonely. They're alone and lonely because they're not aware of how to build meaningful relationships. People don't struggle all of their commercial career because they enjoy struggling. They're struggling because they're not aware of how to knock those blocks down that are all inside. It's never outside. It's never another person. It's never a condition or a circumstance. It's always lack of awareness. This is such beautiful information. I've been living with it for a long time. I don't even know how you'd live without it. In fact, I don't think you can. You merely exist. And unfortunately, that's the way most people go through life. You see, our educational institutions is not giving us this kind of information. They really don't. They really believe the secret is read the book, remember what's in the book, and be able to repeat it. Answer the questions, more right than wrong. You'll pass, you get the degree. Well, we've got people graduating from some of the most prestigious universities in the world every year with multiple degrees that are having difficulty finding work, that are broke. How does that happen? And yet you'll find other people who are functionally illiterate, they can neither read nor write, that are earning millions. How do we account for this? You're going to find that out as you study this. It's got nothing to do with anything outside of ourselves. Education isn't answering what's in the book. Education comes from the Latin educo, meaning to educe, to develop, or to draw from within. Remember I said, everything's already here, omnipresent? That's within us. Madame Montessori was right. Napoleon Hill was right. Carnegie knew the right question. Hill knew how to answer it. What are you going to do with the rest of your life? That's your question. You got to make a decision. You follow this, you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want. I mentioned we want to build schools in Africa for kids that have never seen a school. And so we're building them. There's many things we want to do. We do them all. I never wonder if I can do something. I just ask myself, do I want to? That's the way I think God meant us to live. I believe we're doing God's work. Somebody said, what's God's work? Well, if God's the creator, then God's work would be creation. We've been given the mental faculties to create. We've been created in God's image. Somewhere along the line, way back when, somebody got that mixed up. They thought when they said you're creating God's image, that God was created in their image, so they're looking for a man on a cloud. There is no man on a cloud. But I'm going to tell you something. You got some phenomenal stuff locked up inside of you. You bring it to the surface, you can have anything you want. It's a great way to live. Study this every day. It will pay astronomical dividends. And you want to know something else? You're going to find people that laugh at you at first will start following you. They'll start to want to know, what are you doing? I know, because they laughed at me. But then they started to follow me. And then they started to thank me. I am so grateful to the great work that Napoleon Hill dedicated his entire lifetime to. And you know, when you finish this, you will be too, because your world is going to change like night and day. My hope for you is that you get as much out of this, or even 10% out of this, as I've got it over my lifetime. And if you do, you're going to have an absolutely brilliant future. I love my life. Every morning I wake up, I've got a beautiful day in front of me because I'm doing what I absolutely love to do. And you know the beautiful part? I'm doing it with people that are just like myself. They're into bigger ideas. They're into learning. They want to know. And they know they don't know it all. But we can keep growing. That spark of perfection within you is jabbing you, tell you want this. Write it down. Make up your mind you're going to do it. And remember, you don't have to know how. You only have to know you will.
You don't have to know how. Isn't that cool? I mean, you just have to want it. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's go around and what's your thoughts? Yeah, this is my goal card. I carry with me all the time. I took 2 or 3 things today from this. What's your thought, Dean? What was the biggest takeaway from it?
Well, in fact, kind of how he wrapped up, and you mentioned it several times, and this kind of goes along with some other themes I'm getting from some other folks in my life is you don't know how to have to do it. And what I like about that is, it just reminds me of being a youngster myself, and watching that in my children now, but having followed a very traditional path for 20 years post college or whatnot, you had to know how to do it before you did it. You got put into this, very confined tunnel, and coming back to the idea that, again, a way that I think we think when you're young typically is, you just start and the path begins to develop, and certainly the people that are around you deserve just as much or more credit to getting you there, and so choosing your community is just as important as anything else, in support of the idea that you don't have to know how to do it all right now, sitting here today. I just think that's great.
I love it. Thank you. That's awesome. Beautiful, beautiful share, and it's so true. So true. We don't need to know how. We don't need to know how. Well, let's share next. Liana?
Hi, can you hear me, guys? Yeah, all right, nice. So I'm not gonna be that rainbow today. I'm trying to do, well, let's say I'm doing it, okay? I am repeating the goals that I wrote. I still have, I still believe that I need to know how, because like when I'm talking to you guys, to people that understand it and study it, and yeah, I feel great because people share the same beliefs. Fantastic. That happens like for an hour once a week, and the rest of the week I'm just struggling to keep my mood to this frequency level. Yes, I will do it. No, look around. It doesn't happen. And I need to do this and that. And I'm struggling to keep it up, the vibration. And I'm complaining right now. So there. Any suggestions? I'll be happy to hear.
Absolutely. I think Paula has a beautiful suggestion for you. It's okay. You're in the right spot. you're in the right frequency and vibration. We're going to teach you how to stay there. Like, that's exactly what you said. When you step away from the group, from the atmosphere, the old you comes and steals you back. And it doesn't let you stay at this, oh, I can do it. Oh, this is possible. And you don't do the decision that you need to make. So that's the power of the mature. We're going to teach you how to get there by the how it's going to show up. Paula, what else would you like to add, Juliana?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Now ask Paula, see what she likes to add.
Oh, okay. Thank
Juliana,
you.
I'm laughing here because I know exactly how you feel. That was me. This thermostat, like, what do you mean a thermostat? What is it? Like,
Yeah,
I just could not see how you not to think how. I remember saying that, how you cannot think how. And I had the question, how I cannot think how. And what I've learned is, one, you have to be very patient and compassionate with yourself, because you're completely like shaking everything that you believe. I'm an engineer, so for years, I had to prove the return of investments, right? I had to analyze data. So I couldn't see it. So one is be very compassionate, that you will learn as long as you stay studying. Because repetition, which Bob says, repetition is so important. Because when you repeat, I remember I was taking out the garage and I was listening to Bob. And he was talking about the thermostat. He was talking about the furnace and the temperature and the airplane. Like, he always talks about those same things. And I was taking out the recycling bin, and he was like, I got it, right? You have to hear it over and over and over and over, because the paradigm does not want you to let go of it. It will pull you back. And it was like, once I got it, I can explain it. I know exactly what it means, but it took me time. It took me years, because my other paradigm, I wouldn't repeat enough. Once I learned the power of repetition, I read this book, the 30 days a chapter, and I love it. And I used to fight reading the 30 days. But it's that paradigm. And if you keep coming on Saturday mornings to watch, there's quite a few things that Bob says in this introduction that he goes into details on how the brain works and how the vibrations go in through and activate the cells of recognition. So he goes into a lot more detail that have helped me. So if you're an analytical person, this program on Saturday morning will help you understand the how we work as humans, and why how doesn't matter. And you have to be compassionate, because I've been there and I thought I was a slow learner. No, I was just not doing enough repetition. So,
And how long did it take for you to click?
I still remember when I finally let go of the how. Might have been 2.5 years, 3 years, because I did not follow the instructions. I did not do the repetition. I did not write like Bob tells me. Now that you're in TIR, the homework is writing, reading, repeating, and I didn't do it. I was not a very good client, so it took me longer. But once I got disciplined, it moved fast. Discipline is powerful, and in thinking to results, there's a chapter on discipline. Successful people have discipline, and you are disciplined. I can tell you are. Just waking up at 5 a.m. to join us, that's incredible. But I wasn't. I was letting my paradigm control me, so it took me longer. And then I learned my lesson.
Thank you. I don't promise to wake up at 5 a.m. every time. So that was a lot.
Yeah, we're looking at changing the time for the Saturday session part of the.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
we'll do that. Yeah. Who else? That was beautiful. Thank you, Liana, for sharing, and Paula. Who else?
Thank you, Paula.
It was beautiful. And it's all paradigm, by the way, right? Even thinking about how long it's going to take you, even thinking about, am I going to get it? That's a paradigm talking to you. It's kidnapping you. It's taking you away from what you want to be. And as we get you through lesson 2 and 3, things are going to start like, you're going to like, oh, wow, I'm doing this to myself. And then you're going to start, okay, I'm going to stop doing that. We're going to stop this bad habitual stuff. You're going to love it. It's not going to be long. Look at it. Paula is an engineer, left brain. Now she's right brain, doing both. I'm an engineer. I'm doing right brain stuff. So we get it. And now it didn't take me as long, but it took me, I would say it took me 22 years. I was getting what I wanted. So a whole lot more than 2.5 years. Yeah, I was getting some results, but not as much as I want. And then with the guidance, sped things up.
And
Lori?
the difference between TIR. Oh, sorry, Lori.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
No, I need to leave. That's all, Paula. Thank you, though. Thank you so much. Paula's awesome, by the way. So I'm glad that you're here. And what time Saturday are you guys thinking?
Well, we haven't decided the new time. Right now, it's still 8 a.m.
Okay.
But we haven't decided. But if you have ideas, guys, send it to me and then we'll vote.
Okay, it's just probably not going to matter because I work on Saturdays, but every now and again I can jump in. I appreciate that. Just to give you a brief, what I really, I always hear something differently. Every time I listen, I'm like, Paula, I've been really, it really blesses me that Paula shared that because I really study every single day, like day in, even when I'm driving, I'm listening. And I'm like, one day it's just going to click. Some things have, but other things like, oh, I don't know if I get this yet. Some things have. I've become a whole lot more aware. That is like, absolutely, that took me a long time. And, but it's okay. And I was like you, Paula, I wasn't studying as much as I should have been, but now I am. I'm really answering questions. I'm doing it. So like, thank you for that. But believe, the one thing I got out of this, it's like if you say even if you don't 100% believe that you can hit a goal, just keep repeating and repeating and repeating and impressing and auto-suggesting and visualizing and everything that Bob tells you to do, that Kamal tells you to do, that Paula and Bob will say it, and I say for Kamal, do everything that Kamal and Paula tell you to do until or unless you think they're lying to you. You can say it better than me, but I don't do the verbatim thing yet, but I know Kamal does, and I know Paula probably does. But I love you all. Thank you, everybody. Sign up for Thinking into Results. It's awesome, or a combination thereof. Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you, guys. Thank you,
Laura. Great to see you.
Good to meet you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. The line that Bob used, this is from Ray Stanford, his first mentor. He said, Ray Stanford telling Bob, said, Bob, your way is not working, my way is. Until you find out that I'm lying, and I don't know what I'm talking about, you do what I'm telling you to do. Follow the direction. I don't lie, and I know what I'm talking about. And that's what Bob did. He started following directions, and it was like that. Now, it took him some time still. Year and a half or so to start making in the millions. And then it took him 9.5 years to figure out why it happened. So that was the line that Gloria was talking about. So there are certain things that you can learn to do differently. People expect to change overnight. It can happen if you really switch. It's just the vibration and the frequency, but the paradigm and the habitual behaviors takes you back. And you might not be ready for that next fortune. You might not be ready for that next company. You might not be ready for that next job. We have to get you ready. It's a system. It's a success system. That's what it is. And that's what we're going to teach you. So who else would like to share? I saw Najam earlier. Turn the camera. Are you ready, Najam, to share? Hello, hello.
Hi. Hi, how are you guys? Thank you for having me. I gotta run real quick, but I just been listening and observing, and I wrote down the line that he said, which was believe because your belief will create the fact. And I really love that because it's true. Like when you believe it, that alignment of believing, visualizing, seeing yourself in it, it's almost like a warp speed that happens, and you create and it creates the fact, like the universe creates the fact. And I really like that, and it's just on the same wavelength of things that I do in my life, and of believing. Sometimes it's also goes into having faith as well, and removing the distractions from around you in order to see the target. So it's just like you can put that in anything from sports to, even learning to ride a bike, Um, and so, yeah, I appreciate that. And that video is really, really empowering. And so, yeah, I enjoyed your session today. It's pretty cool. So thank you so much for having me.
Great, beautiful, beautiful. So thank you, Nizam, for being here. The belief part is so critical, and we share that with lesson 7, the terror barrier. Then there's the praxis where we help you that belief and that integration of what you believe. Because you can believe you're going to become a millionaire, but are you behaving like it? So we got to integrate that belief. Just like, how Napoleon Hill had to say the statement that Andrew Carnegie gave it to him. At the beginning, it was so scary. But after 15 days, it's become probable. After 30 days, I started believing it. So now we got to get the behavior. So we can teach you that. That's all part of the system. I love that, Chair. That's so cool. It's really cool. I have one share. You have to go to jump. Thank you so much. If you got to go, have a good night. Kathy, I want to give a chance to Kathy to do a quick share.
Oh, just I like attending these because I'm in another group that I found my highest value is learning, but it's taken away from generating revenue. So I spend a lot on self-education, and I'm always in the mode of learning. So that's kind of what my situation is.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. And we got to put you in the doing. We call it the knowing doing. We have so much information. We learn so much, and we think we need to a lot, but we got to move you to the doing. It's lesson 2. It's letting go of many things, of criticism, fear, failure, losing some money, and get you to the doing. It's called the knowing doing gap. We know it, but we're not doing it, or we're not doing enough. We're not persisting. So we can help you shift to that direction very, very quick. And my takeaway from the video day, in under 30 days, you commit, and your life will start changing to the direction of your desire. Like that desire that you want will start showing up. It has to happen. It's a reality. So that's common, Kathy, where people collect books and information. I have 5 degrees. I didn't need 5 degrees. It took me 22 years, 5 degrees. I was thinking I need a certificate, another degree. It wasn't it. And now without the degrees, I'm 5 times where I was. I'm lighter, healthier, happier, wealthier. How? Because of this material, because I started doing. I didn't care about the knowing. The school already has the information. The library already has it. And that's, I think, the initial part. But I suggest get with Paula. Paula, maybe connect with Kathy, and we can see what else we can do.
Yes, definitely. That's what I wanted to share earlier, is the difference between thinking into results and other coaches, because I also had a few coaches, and I still do have mentors as well, is that everything else is about studying. And that's what we do in school. And that the part that says no amount of a study or learning will change your life. It's the understanding and application. So if you study Bob enough, understanding is at the subconscious level. So you understand when you have integrated. And there's only 2 ways of doing it: through repetition, repeating the idea, repeating the action. If you're doing calls, you repeat, you get better. And emotional impact. That's the second one. Emotional impact is normally negative. So that would be Bob he talks about 9/11, but understanding an emotional impact would be getting laid off, somebody dying, even looking at a terrible accident, watching bad movies, like then you cringe and you get emotionally involved. Those are emotional impacts. And we're not thinking at those times. So we make decisions in those moments that then become part of our beliefs. People are responsible, or life is too short. Why work too hard if life is short? Like, we make decisions in those moments because we don't understand how we function. So Bob teaches you have to repeat, but you also have the knowledge of who we are and how we function as in this physical world, because we're spiritual beings. And that's the difference between TRR and other coaching programs, that at least the ones that I've taken.
What is TR?
Thinking into results.
Yeah. This is what we coach on for 6 months. Called Thinking Results. It's a series of videos and some notes and live interaction where we take you through how to achieve a worthy goal.
Mhm.
Cool. The other takeaway I got the 30-day today from Bob as to anybody who commits for 30 days on something. You commit on 30 days with us with accountability and start doing something. If you actually do the work, things will start changing. 30 days. Is it doable? Absolutely. Does everybody do it in 30 days? Sometimes it takes longer. 21 days, they say, for a habit, sometimes 2 months, 3 months. For me, it takes me about 35, 40 days to get a new habit. Why? I don't know. It's just the way it is. If I want to get a new habit now, it's going to take me 35, 40, 45 days. Then I start getting it. Then I get that habit. Then I do another one. And I do another one. And I do another one. So I'm just building new habits to change my income, to change my health, to change my wealth.
Kamal, I have a question on that. Do you think it's wise or unwise to try to change multiple habits at the same time, simultaneously, in parallel with each other?
I definitely think it's not the right thing to do more than 2. I don't recommend it. Bob doesn't recommend it either. 1 is the best, 2 at most. 1 personal, 1 business. Do 1 personal and then 1 business, and enjoy the life. If you try to do 20 at the same time, and like people, what they do, they start eating healthy, they go to the gym, they get the book, they get the instructor, they sign up to a course, things in their life, and you will get a stretch of goodness. But then you get snapped back. You go back to where you were, and even worse, you start going down because it's too many. I want to habitually change 1 or 2 at a time, no more than 2. And that's what we do with Thinking into Results. We get you to commit. What is it you want to change? Making more phone calls, earning more money, selling another package a day. I don't know, meeting another client a day, whatever. What's this new habit? And then we go at it. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. Oh, then you fail, or you stop it. Then we start again. So we get you to commit. You're not committing to me. I'm your accountability guy. I'm going to help you repetition. You're going to commit to you. I want to get you to give order to your mind so you can get the discipline it takes to reach that awareness. And discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow. That's what doesn't happen. We want to do all these things, but we don't do it. But I want to get you to understand how the discipline works of the mind. And it's going to happen on the inside before the outside happens.
Dean, would you want to share a couple of habits that you're thinking about?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think my life was full of terrific habits. Now, the past 3.5 years of my life, I've undergone night and day events that have, I use the term, I mean, my life looks 0% now as compared to just 3 and 4 years ago. So it's it's been very painful. So I've picked up some habits that aren't serving me well. I know it's not my default setting, so I need to shake them off. But also because I'm essentially, this is life, I don't know, 2.0 or 3.0 for me, have the opportunity to really, I guess, rethink what the good habits in my life that served me well in this previous, I don't want to say my previous life, but I mean, I have an opportunity to create new healthy habits too. So I'm not answering your question because I have a lot kind of in a fishbowl, and that's why I asked Kamal. I said, I mean, I would love to, of course, have all these things affect these, new habits effective 30 days from now, 40 days from now. But it sounds like I need to prioritize them and not try to bite off too much. Otherwise, I'll, take ultimately 10 steps back for every, 1.5 that I move forward with. But
And the reason
I'll stop
asked,
there.
it's
Yes.
because when I started getting more into the habits, I had a misunderstanding what a habit is. And how we used to think, when you wake up, do you snooze? Do you stand up when you go to the bathroom, or you drink water? Like, I used to think these were more that like habits. And really a habit, it can also be the way of thinking of something, right?
Oh,
So
sure.
a habit of focusing always in the past, or focusing too much in the future instead of the present. So when you start thinking into results, in lesson 2, you start looking at, write down your day. What are your productive and non-productive activities? And when I started understanding what a habit is and what a belief is, it's the same kind of word, same thing. And you start saying, okay, I want to change. If I'm working towards my health, we can say I'm going to start working out. I'm going to change that habit of waking up at 5 to work out. But there could be something beyond that that makes it stick. Because like Kamal said, waking up, that you're going to go back. You might remove the weight, and then you might find it again. That's why I say you lose the weight, you find it. But when you change the habit of, I'm going to wake up, and you think, I'm going to start with gratitude. I'm going to sit down and do gratitude, and change that habit instead, where it elevates your energy, and then that will motivate you to work out. Then you start thinking, oh, what is the habit that's going to influence all the other things that I want to do in life? And that's what you do in lesson 2 and 3. The habit is not the action normally. It's probably the way of thinking that we're doing. And perception, like lesson 5, you start learning about perception and intuition. The way that I used to perceive this stuff, I was in the, what if this happened? Like, have plan B. That was a habit of mine. And now it's like, I don't need plan B, because if I focus on it. So you start realizing that a habit is a little bit more than what we think it is. And those habits, when they start changing, everything else starts changing. And those are the ones that we start finding in lesson 2 and 3. It's pretty interesting.
Very nice. Yeah. I know with me, I mean, my life was very extremely structured, and in very short order, it became very unstructured. And as more structure has come back into it, the norm is I might have an idea of what may happen tomorrow. And I've gone through this enough to know now that if 20% of that actually happens, that's probably a lot. And even when I wake up to tomorrow, it could be 52 card pickup and the whole deck gets reshuffled. And it's been a very uncomfortable way to operate. But the one thing that I've seemed to have noticed is at the end of the day, kind of everything happened the way, how do I want to say this? When I look back at the day, which seems sort of chaotic, and it's tough because I can't, people say, Dean, can we do this on this day, or can we plan for this? Because everyone else is really focused on, putting together their pieces of the puzzle. And I did that too for 45 years of my life. And so it's hard to interact with the rest of the world, the 95% of the people in the world who do function that way. But again, what I'm finding out to a certain extent about going with the flow is, like I said, at the end of the day, it kind of seems like everything worked out for the best, even though it was very uncomfortable. So to sort of have to try to, stomach or I don't know. So I'm not sure exactly what my point is here, other than I know that in my recent experience in the last couple of years, especially the last year, is my mindset has changed a lot. And kind of touching on, is it Yolana? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Close enough for government work? I don't know. There's been a part of my life that I have worked, I would say, very hard on growing or planting and watering and having setbacks, so on and so forth. That kind of like what you had mentioned, I think you said you were in your garage or taking out the garbage, and all of a sudden you just sort of had, this landmark understanding, right? On something that Bob had touched on. I mean, what's interesting to me now, when I've listened to people just, few weeks ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, they might have said something to me and it just didn't even register, or words on a page, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, somebody's guidance or wisdom, it just immediately begins to have color in it, and it lands on you. And it could be the same piece of information or detail that I grasp, maybe I'll say, 5% of, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, you go back, you think, well, I'm revisiting the same topic again. Is this a waste of time? But for some reason, at certain points in time, all of a sudden more, these golden nuggets just begin to fall into your mindset or your lap. And that encourages me to then seek more. So like, when I heard the word repetition, I think everyone, the connotation with that is kind of like, oh no,
Oh no.
But I think you end up getting, all of a sudden you get those little moments of brilliance, you're like, wow, this is great. And then you just become thirsty for it. You start to get, because you now have experienced results or positive results or a new understanding, or looking at something in a way that you never could have imagined possible before. And I would say this, for me, a lot of that especially has come through like community. I would say that's probably most responsible for me having those little breakthroughs. And it's like one of my buddies says, hey Dean, if you can get 0.25% today, 0.5% tomorrow, it might not look like anything, but after a while that'll be equal to 10%, and that's something. And so you begin to see the traction. You can look back and see your the path that you've actually begun to follow, a new path. You can see those tracks in the sand, I guess. I don't know the way to describe it. I'm a visual guy. So, and I just have to say this, one of the things that I really loved, I mean, that Bob mentioned, being slow to make decisions, but fast to change them, as compared to, making them fast and slow to change. I just really, I had never heard, he obviously has a heck of a way of just, making something that I think floats around in our heads that we've never concretely thought about. But like, as soon as he said that, that makes perfect sense. And I can think about times in my life or situations or people where, I've just grinded away too long on a decision, whether it's in my personal life, in the working world, so on and so forth. And that, and whether it's a long time to make and then you keep that decision, or it takes a long time to make it and then all of a sudden you're ready to change it in the blink of an eye. Both those scenarios just don't seem to serve anyone involved very well. Now, making a quick decision, that has served me better in recent years. Now, that said, slow to change, I don't think make a quick decision and not be open to ever changing it is a great thing. But when you're seeking to change it, I think you need to, be slow to change. That's just doing your homework or consulting, those folks in your life who you feel like are wise and can contribute to making a healthy adjustment or change to it is a good thing to do. But anyhow, that was another thing that really stood out to me that he was chatting about there on his stool in that video. It was good. Thanks, Kamal.
Oh, absolutely. You're just
On
becoming
Saturday
more...
we did.
Sorry, go ahead.
On Saturday we studied decision this past Saturday, and there's a science behind that as well, that why you make decisions quick. And it's not decisions like, am I going to wash the dishes or cook? It's decisions about, well, you start with, I'm going to cook this and don't change it. But the ones that Bob really turned is, I'm going to build an electrical car. And I'm going to change in the process how I get there, but I'm not going to change the goal. And making the decision is set the goal, don't change it. So it goes into deeper, and that's when you study the decision chapter in Think and Grow Rich. But the key word that I got, we're saying is educo. We have to get educated to bring awareness to meet the vibration of the goal that we have. And educo comes from the, education comes from our educo, to bring from within. And that was another part, is like bring from within. It's not high school, it's not university. It's anything that brings something more out of us into the world. And so there were so many things there that I wish, maybe go back to the Facebook and look at it in 6 months. Well, look at it in 6 months and you'll be like, oh my God, like I now understand this and this and this and this points, because now that your mind is organized, and that's what thinking into result is, give you an assistant to organize all this stuff that has gone through your life in the last couple years, that you're like, what happened, right? So you had certainty, and all of a sudden, like, why? And all of a sudden you get the system and you're like, oh my God, I understand now how. And now that I understand it, I can duplicate it and replicate it over and over and over again and teach it to others, teach it to your kids. Because now you have the formula. Before you were probably unconscious competent. You do things, but you don't know what you're doing. Therefore, it's harder to teach. You're like, just do it. But why? I don't know, just do it. That's what it is. Right. And now you have a formula, and you said you become a conscious competent, and you know what you did, and you can teach your kids. And that's the beauty of it. My daughters, like today, my daughter called me And she said, Mom, they're gonna call you from school. I'm in the bathroom, I'm crying. Can I go to class? And she's having negative thoughts, and she's telling me like, I'm having these thoughts and I'm doing it to myself. I don't know what to do. We can have these conversations because she studied Bob Proctor and she met Bob Proctor too. And I listened to her, and I'm thinking, okay, like what lesson do I, like, if I'm Bob, what do I do with my daughter right now?
What
And
would
when
Bob
she calmed
do? Yeah.
down, yeah, what would Bob do right now?
What
And
Bob
when she
say?
calmed down, I asked her, what, you want to go to the library? I can call the school and say, yeah, you gotta go to the library, write down piece of paper and figure out what's the thought that is triggering the emotion, because she knows the stick person. So she knows what I'm talking about. It's like, what's the thought that's triggering the emotion to make you feel this way? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, just ask your subconscious mind, what's the first thought that is triggering? And write it down. And what do I really want? Which is lesson 1, right? What do I really want? And then go into gratitude, because gratitude is the antidote of fear and anger. So she went to the library and saw her back later, and she came home with 4 friends. But that conversation I can have with her because she also has studied that material. Right? And I tell her, and she knows the stick person. I know Kamal kids as well are doing it. And it's so powerful that instead of a mom is like, oh my God, my daughter is suffering, what do I do? And she needs a psychology or counseling. No, like it's calm because I know what's going on in her thoughts, emotions, and body. And I can guide her through it. And I learned that through thinking into results.
Beautiful. So good.
I have a quick question. Thank you, Paula and Dean. Amazing to listen to your stories. Last time we were in a Zoom meeting, Kamal, where you talked about this video you wanted to share from Bob. Is this? Do you think it's a good time to do this or not?
No, we'll that one is for the clients. So we're gonna do it with the clients probably Monday. We can do Monday.
For the clients, okay.
That's
Am I the client?
You are
Yes.
Okay.
It's a beautiful video. We can show Dean a piece of it, but it's we're gonna be not recording and live and on YouTube because it's a private video from Bob. We'll do it on Monday.
Oh, I see. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
You
Good
have
question.
several levels of clients. That's why I'm asking if I'm in that.
Our client. You're an amazing client. You're doing very well. So I wanna just comment on to Dean before I lose the thought. We're gonna slow down to speed up. We're gonna get you calm and aware. And we're gonna have things come to you instead of you chasing it. That's how it's going to work. Slow down to speed up. Calm, no anxiety, relax, get really what you want. That's what it does. Build all these beautiful habits, one at a time. There's no need to rush. If you build one habit in 30 days, in 12 months, you'll have 12 habits. What if 5 of them become good money-making habits? What if 5 of them become healthy habits? 1 year, you'll change your life. That's what this is all about, with ease. That's what we want to do. So good. All right, we gone over, which is cool. It was nice, but we will share that video. We'll invite Dean. Dean is has been around, and I love to. Sure, we'll bring him and Kathy as well. But this has been awesome. We gotta adjourn. I do have somebody calling me from Australia, I think. They're in the morning over there. But this has been beautiful. So thank you, Dean. Thank you, Ileana, for coming. Kathy, Paula, thanks for the presence. Enjoy your night, and you know how to reach us. You got my calendar, you get Paula's number as well, and have an amazing night. Love to have you explore it further.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Kamal.
you, ladies and
Dean, for sharing,
gentlemen.
and Kathy.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Talk soon.